Ideal Protein is a doctor-designed, coach-led ketogenic weight loss protocol that uses food as medicine to empower you to lose weight and live your healthiest life.
And welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show, a podcast brought to you by the Livingston Parish News. This is Group Therapy, and actually, I guess we're going to have to find a new name for it because this will be our final edition where we talk, all three of us. We are going to be moving, starting in July, to just speaking with Mr. David Gray and just speaking with Mr. Rob DeArmond. So we're going to be keeping our future episodes very focused, but this is our last one as a group. And I've kind of stolen their thunder a little bit, but I am going to let them introduce themselves. We're going to start on the viewer's right.
Hey, this is David Gray, news writer with the Livingston Parish News.
Hey, this is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
Thank you, gentlemen. And we are going to jump into this. Oh, want to let people know, if you're listening to this, we will not be recording next week. That'll be the week of July 4th. We do hope you enjoy your Independence Day and have safe fun. Please remember, we've run all the pertinent stories with
no fireworks if you're in the city limits.
There's that, and drive sober, get pulled over, get pulled over.
Yeah.
And remember to wear a seatbelt, and always remember too, if you're going to be out on the river, life jackets, especially I think it's for children under age 13, are required, among other things. So please be careful if you are out there this weekend celebrating Independence Day, and fingers crossed that it does not rain too much. We all know it's going to rain. It's 4th of July weekend. Just how much? Let's hope for little. Getting into it today, first and foremost, let's just start off with some controversy. Why not? Deer Run came back up in front of the parish council. Councilman Shane Mack of District 9, that's the Albany area and points north, reversed his vote. And so now Deer Run is moving forward. He had a couple of reasons for that. David, I'm going to let you take it away.
Yeah, he explained his reasoning before. Basically, after the agenda item was presented, he said that he had more time to look at the plats that the Deer Run developers had submitted, and he felt like they had followed every ordinance that there was. Just a quick history on Deer Run. It's been presented before the council. This was the third time it's been presented to the council. The first time it was deferred for 2 weeks. The second time it ended in a 4-4 vote. Councilman Bubba Harris was not there. So the vote, essentially, since it ended in a tie, essentially failed. And then it was brought back again at the last meeting last week, and that's where it passed 5-2. Yes, because at 5-2, there were 2 councilmen who were not present, but 5 would have been the majority anyway. So that allows the Deer Run to move forward. Doesn't mean that construction's starting. It just allows them to move to, start conducting their studies, I should say. Allows them to start doing that, traffic, drainage, impact studies, and that sort of thing. And if there's any sort of major, substantial changes to the plat, then it would have to come back before the planning commission, come back before the council, which means it would then fall under the new rules, which we talked about last week, the new rules on development that the council passed earlier this month. It would fall under those rules. So that's, I guess, the residents, if you're against this subdivision, that's what you should be hoping for, that they find enough substantial changes that they'll have to come back through. But that's not a guarantee right now. So I mean, basically, it just allows the subdivision to move forward. Construction is not imminent. The earliest houses would be built, if everything moved well for the developers, wouldn't be till 2024. So it's going to be a while before anything gets built or cleared, anything like that.
Sure. So that has come back up. But as mentioned, those ordinances, there was a slew of them that were passed at the beginning of June. So as mentioned, if there are significant changes, they will be forced, the developer will be forced to adhere to those new rules. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that situation. And probably non-controversial news, but also nice all the same. Carter's grocery store chain, which has become quite a staple of the Livingston Parish community, having locations in, let's make sure I hit all of them, North Denham, South Denham, Town of Livingston, Springfield, and Walker.
And Albany.
And Albany. See?
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Glad we worked through that together. The original store, which was at the corner of Lockhart and Cockrum Road in North Denham Springs, has been replaced by a newer store at the corner of Hatchell and Cockrum, so not very far from that original store. But David, you got to go check that out. Brand new, fresh store. Construction just finished. They just opened this morning.
Correct.
For new customers. Tell us a little bit about what you saw when you went.
I mean, no, it was a beautiful store. I've only been to inside I think one Carter's before. I guess I should say that, but the Walker store I've been in there a few times, going to meet them because I believe that's where they had their offices as well for a little while. But this new store is 31,000 square feet. It is huge. There's plenty of space to walk throughout. Rob went this morning too
Sure did.
To go buy lunch. The ready to go meals, that's something that they're pushing. They have some new stuff. Hibachi bowls. I know all their other restaurants, or excuse me, all their other stores they serve sushi, but now at the one on Hatcher Lane, they're starting the hibachi bowls. It's become really popular recently. They're going to also focus on the salads. The hot bar that they have, it's self-serve, but because of COVID, they have the ability to make it a service bar to where people wouldn't be able to serve themselves. Someone would have to serve you the food. Just something that you have to think about now with COVID. Uh, they also have self checkout there. They said that's the first one of their stores that have self checkout, and just kind of cool to see. I always get interested in like businesses that have lasted. This one, it's been almost 40 years since they opened, and seeing the change of the business from when they start to where they are now. Because you see 6 grocery stores, huge space. They have it easy, but I mean, 40 years ago, Carter and Edna Kane, these people, the ones who founded Carter's Supermarket, they put it all on the line, and that's what their family members, when I talked with them last week, a few days before they opened, they were kind of telling me is how they essentially bet their lives on that store. And so it's good to see, whenever you make that sort of investment. And I mean, now their family is still reaping the rewards of that investment. And for a long time, you never knew how long it would last. And they talked about them having to do all the maintenance themselves. I mean, when I say maintenance, I know they did the electrical work. They replaced tiles. They did the shelves, like everything they had to do themselves because they put everything that they had into buying the store. So then you have to keep it up yourself. So Miss Edna was there, so it was nice seeing her there at the open house they had before the opening. But yeah, just 31,000 square feet. It is huge.
Yeah, and a very beautiful facade on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those indoor pictures, very clean store, very nice looking. Looking forward to popping up there myself sometime in the next couple of days. We're going to come back to David for a little bit of tragic news, but before we get to that, let's talk with Rob about sports. First and foremost, most of the summer sports wrapping up this week, and everybody's taking a break before they get into the swing of things leading into the start of next school year.
Yeah, we David and I went out to Walker today. We had Walker, Denham, and Springfield wrapping up 7-on-7 league play. It's one of those things where you just kind of touch base with the coaches and say, hey, did you get what you needed done? How'd you kind of fare? And and talking to Coach Beard at Denham Springs, he's like, June is a tough month on these athletes, so they're kind of looking forward to having that little break. And I think everybody at this point is to that point where you get to the, okay, we can take a little break right now. And before, and talking to Coach Mahaffey, it was like, before we know it, it's going to be, we'll take a few days off, come back, start working again. And before we know it, it's going to be time for camp to start for football. It'll be here before we know it. And, just today, for all of them, I think all 3 of those teams, they had spots where they were happy with, and they had other spots where it's like, felt like we could have done better in certain situations, in certain spots. I know with Coach Beard, he was not overly happy with the quarterback play today. They're using Reese Mooney and Jerry Horn. They're alternating. He was alternating every other series with them, which is what we saw last week as well. Not overly pleased with that. Just kind of felt like they were kind of flat at times. And Coach Mahaffey said he kind of felt like his guys started out kind of slow, but as they started going on, they started picking up a little momentum and things like that. And talking to Coach Surpass, they're gonna try to take this as kind of a learning experience. He said because they're playing against 4A and 5A teams today, and they're hoping to carry over some stuff and have some 7-on-7 sessions in July with some teams more in their classifications, which he said he's hoping that's going to help them out when they get to start playing these teams that are in their classifications or in their I guess more in the wheelhouse, I guess we should say. And but he's hoping they can carry that over into the July sessions that they're going to have. They're going to try to put together some stuff in July and go there. So it's something for all of them to build on. And I think I told him I don't think that the sun was this hot when I was younger, but it's pretty toasty out there. But that part of it's getting through that too. So.
Yeah. I remember those summers, and it does. It feels hotter now than it did then.
Yeah.
So also, this is sort of a gear change, but it's important. The feature story for your sports section this week, I think it teaches a lesson of it's never too late to try something out. So tell us a little bit about a kid from Walker that tried 3 different sports and then found his way into college playing one of them.
This is one of those really good interviews. Robert Jackson Jr. As a senior, he's on the baseball team. He basically kind of finds his niche he's an outfielder, but he kind of finds his niche as a courtesy runner, and he winds up setting the school stolen base. He had 30 stolen bases as a senior. He's parlayed that into he was able to sign with Dillard a couple weekends ago. Dillard is just starting a baseball program, so talking to Coach Randy Sandifer at Walker, I said, man, he could have easily said, when you come to him and say, hey man, yeah, I just need you to run, he could have easily said, no, I don't want to do that, Coach. And Coach Sandifer just said it's just the way he's been brought up. He put it all on his parents and the way he's been brought up. He said he just figured out a way he could help the team out. But getting to that point, as a freshman, he went out for basketball. He said in junior high was more of a point guard, moving the ball. He gets to high school and he was more of a big man. And it was kind of funny. He said, I realized after that first year that I wasn't going to do a lot of growing and I wasn't going to be like 6'5". So I said, maybe I need to start focusing on baseball. So he starts focusing on baseball. Went out for football at the end of his freshman year. He said he went up for a pass, went to break up a pass and came down wrong on his knee, tore an ACL, which kind of, and then in the midst of that, you're trying to come back and COVID hits. So he's rehabbing from that and COVID hits that. I think it's sophomore year for him. And so it's kind of a wash. He comes back, and he wound up just focusing on track his junior year, which, I asked him, I said, did that help just focusing on? He goes, yeah, it helped me kind of go through my rehab. You're just kind of running in a straight line and you're able to kind of build up that speed. And at the same time, you kind of carry that over to baseball to where that speed kind of helps me kind of discover that, hey, maybe I can swipe some bases like this. So it kind of worked hand in hand, and he wound up in track. He wound up, if I remember correctly, the 100-yard record holder now for the parish. So that's another thing that he was able to do, and talk to Coach Matthew Edwards, a track coach, and he said the same thing. He's like, Robert's just one of those guys that he's just going to figure out what he needs to do, and he's going to help the team out. And if that's what he needs to do, whatever we ask him to do, okay, Coach, how can I get better? What do we need to do to get here? And then in talking to, he said, Robert said he doesn't know any other way. He's like, that's just the way I've been brought up. We just work hard for whatever we want to get, whatever we want to go achieve. That's what we do, and, just in talking to Coach Sandifer, he just feels like what's kind of helped him is those injuries may have actually helped him, so he doesn't have those, those multiple game summers of playing summer ball, as many games as they might play. So he may be a little fresher, and he's got, the skill part of it, the speed part of it, so he can just kind of build on, and kind of learn as he goes, if that's a right term. So he said he's kind of just scratching the surface on what he can do. So, and the fact that Dillard is a first-year program, they're just getting started. So that could be a great opportunity. And Robert said that's what he's looking forward to most is being able to go. He was able to visit the campus, and he said, I just want to be a part of that community and be a part of it. Basically, it's history is what we're doing. So it's he's really excited about being able to do it. And he just, like he said, I know I've been putting in the work, and here we are. We've got this opportunity now. So
sure. Well, good luck to that young man, and have a happy week off, Rob, because sports people don't get a whole lot of time off, but July is the downtime.
Well, I know. I talked to you about it, and then going to talk to these coaches today. He's like, man, we're taking first week of July off too. I was like, timed it well. So there we go. We'll take it while we can, man.
Sure. And a reminder that we will not be on the mic next week. We will return the second week in July. So to wrap up the show today, we're going to talk to Mr. David Gray about an unfortunate bit of tragedy in Lake Maurepas this past weekend that was finally resolved, I believe, Tuesday morning. Excuse me.
Well, Monday night technically, but they released the news Tuesday morning.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what happened.
Yeah, there was a Sunday around 4 p.m. Officials were alerted to 3 missing boaters or swimmers, I guess you could say, in Lake Maurepas. The 3 gentlemen, one was 18, one was 20, the other was 48, and tragically, the search did not end. They were able to find the bodies, but all 3 men had died. Their bodies were turned over to the coroner's office, so waiting on an official cause of death, but the search lasted. They were able to find the first 48-year-old gentleman, Michael Bryant, of Denham Springs. They found him just before 10 o'clock on Monday morning. So they went missing, like I said, 4 p.m. the day before. So, and the search was just made worse because if people can remember this week it has been stormy. Sunday afternoon, I remember, was a bad one. Sunday evening, I think it was. So that kind of hampered made the search efforts that much more difficult. But you had a bunch of different agencies that teamed up to look for these bodies. Then later that night around 6:30 Monday is when they found the other 2 18-year-old, get their names right, Zachary LaDuff, and 20-year-old Zane Bryant, and Bryant, also of Denham Springs. So yeah, it was just a tragic situation. I know the family came across some of their Facebook posts the last couple of days, and I mean, like you said, 18, 20, and 48, they had many years left, and that's kind of one of the things that the Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, who was leading the investigation, they just wanted to send that reminder. You mentioned it, to wear life vests. According to the department, none of them were wearing life vests, and it basically started. One of them was swimming, became distressed. Another one jumped in to try to rescue him. Then they both were distressed, and then the third one jumped in and tried to rescue all 3 of them, and all 3 became distressed. So, just that extra warning to wear life vests anytime you're on a major body of water, because you never really know how the water's moving, the current. You don't know any of that. We had those incidents on the Amite River last summer. Thankfully we haven't had one this year. Obviously not going to have one from Tiki Tubing right now, but it just shows that you need to just take that extra precaution. It's better to be safe than sorry. I'm sure these men, the family members, wish they would have worn that. Who knows how that would have changed the situation.
Sure. It's always important to respect the water. A lot of times you don't know what it's doing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, until it's too late. So please respect the water. Still a lot of summer left. If you're going to get out on the water for 4th of July, if you're going to the beach, please respect the water. Very powerful force. In fact, I think they teach you in geology. It's one of the few. It's going to figure out a way eventually. So please respect the water for the rest of the summer. Please try to stay safe if you are going out on the lake, on the river, to the beach, anything like that. So to wrap up this final show of June, before we take a break, and we'll be back the second week of July, going to let these guys introduce themselves real quick. Going to start on the viewers left.
Hey, this is Rob DeArmond, sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And this is David Gray, news writer with the Livingston Parish News.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate all of you out there for joining us for the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show. This is Group Therapy, the last Group Therapy we'll be doing. Going to have to find a new name for the news/lifestyle and the sports. I'm sure we'll come up with something clever. But please remember, the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays at $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. One last time, we appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time.